Okay, will the NHL expand past 32 teams? That is a question I do get asked quite regularly in regards to Quebec having a team. And obviously also relocation comes in there as well, with like move Arizona, move Florida. The league has no appetite to move the Coyotes out of Arizona or the Panthers out of the metropolitan area of Miami. There is no appetite. 2/3 of owners would have to vote in favour of doing so. And if they were going to move these teams, they would have done it a long time ago. It's plain and simple. And relocation weakens stability, and it also would be a headache for scheduling and for balancing the conferences, which are finely balanced, with Seattle being the 32nd team. I think 32 teams is a natural limit. Going past that would be stretching, the talent depth. And we've seen the influx of European players, and as a European fan, that's great to see some European players playing in the NHL. But I don't see the league having that drive to do it. So when I get asked, will Quebec get a team? The answer is no. In the highly unlikely event that the NHL decides to move a team, it's because they have no choice. As happened with the Atlanta Thrashers, there was no choice. Ownership was a disaster, and they didn't have a building to play in. The league was left with no choice. Winnipeg comes along with their ownership group saying, we have an NHL-ready arena right now. We have an AHL team playing in that arena right now. We are able to take the team. Plus, the Canadian dollar was in a stronger position at the time. So when I get asked about Quebec getting a team, the exchange rate on the Canadian dollar to the US dollar is not favourable enough. It would cost more to put a team there and to run a team and to make money. And we're seeing, Ottawa right now as a Canadian market, having some issues with attendance and arena issues. But I don't see Ottawa moving. They will stay in the Ottawa metropolitan area. They need an arena at the other end of town. But yeah, I can't. While it would be nice to have a team in Quebec, it would be. I think that window has passed. I think the expansion proposal that was put forward obviously went in Vegas's favour. New location, untapped sports market, bigger TV revenue, bigger sponsorship revenue, because there's another issue. Where else do you expand that has that market share in the US Canadian fan base? And Atlanta would be a logical choice, but they've been there twice before and failed. So I don't see what other locations you could really put a team in. Let's talk about, Houston should have a team. Right. That's all well and good. But obviously Seattle got the latest franchise, and many proposals were put forward. So when Vegas obviously were awarded, Quebec and Houston were part of the bidding process as well. And obviously the package that Vegas put forward seemed more amenable to the league. And when obviously we get to Seattle joining, again, Quebec and Houston and Kansas City as well also put forward their proposals for an expansion team. And they went with Seattle. And it makes logical sense having two new teams basically in the Pacific, balancing out the divisions. I don't know how you would have a 33 or 34 or 35 team league. It would make no logical sense. An odd team league is a nightmare. We had that for many years in the 80s with a 21 team league. It really made a nightmare of fixturing. And then obviously in the 90s and the 2000s we had the next wave of expansion, which stopped in 2000 and left the league at 30 teams. And now we've taken that next step to go to 32. It interests me that the league waited as long as it did from 2000 to 2017, 17 years without expansion. That was a very long wait. And in that period, teams were moved. But moving teams affects stability. And when you're arguing in trying to battle for better TV rights to make more money on the TV deal, lack of stability, which is what relocation is, isn't great when you're trying to sell national TV deals to broadcasters. So I don't think the NHL goes past, but I could be wrong. There have been proposals on the table to have an NHL division in Europe, like an NHL Europe, but the European leagues are all very well established, and the best European talent ends up in the NHL anyway. So that proposal is, again, one of those proposals that sits on the ideas table and doesn't get past the ideas stage. But I think the league's happy with 32 teams. I think it's stable with 32 teams, and to go further would be unnecessary. I think you've just had 2 teams added to the league in the last 5 years. I think stability and well, bear in mind, obviously, the lockdown and the shutdown economically has hurt the league. Stability is key, and we'll see what happens. But relocation is more likely, however unlikely that may be. And with all the statements coming out of the NHL, there is no appetite to move Arizona or Florida or any other team for that matter to a new location. There is no appetite. The league makes less money out of relocation fees, and then you have to sort of go back to the drawing board when it comes to regional broadcasters, because there are regional carriers in the US and Canada for, again, another bout of TV right negotiation when they just got a long-term deal with ESPN. It becomes more of a headache on the economic side. So there we go. I don't think they go past 32 teams. But thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts below, and I'll have some more videos for you very, very soon.